Begin here this hour. 5 suspects have been killed in a shootout with police in Chatsworth in KZN in the early hours of this morning. Newzroom Afrika's Silethiwe Ndlovu is there for us. Silethiwe, good morning. You are basically tracking what is still at this hour an active crime scene.
Certainly, Michelle, as you can see, even the scene at this very moment is still cordoned off. I know that there's a briefing that is currently being given at this particular moment. I'm actually just going to try and move in so we can get those details in terms of what actually transpired.
Unfortunately, as they followed this information in the early hours of this morning, they approached this shack where these suspects were hiding out. The members then were confronted with shooting when the suspect shot at the police. And the police had to retaliate and return fire. Unfortunately, 5 of them were fatally wounded. Fortunately, none of our members got harmed during the incident.
General, it looks like, I mentioned earlier to my colleague that it's a confined space. I'm just looking at this pathway behind, and I know the path that we followed to get here. Was that a bit of a challenge for the members who were approaching this area in the morning? It looks quite dangerous.
Most definitely, it's always a challenge, and we have so many areas like this where criminals opt to hide with an intention of running away from the police. So including this one, it was not easy. Remember, in situations like this, you have to be very careful when you're trying to arrest or to capture a suspect, because innocent people, innocent communities, including children, might just be caught on the crossfire. So in this instance, it was not easy, but fortunately, it is just the suspects that we got to arrest in this way.
General, their links to extortion also caught my attention, because we've seen shootouts in the past where there have been suspects that have been linked to extortion. It seems like that problem is still continuing in KZN. Are you getting a handle on it as the police?
Yes, we do. We are getting a handle on that. The unfortunate part with extortion is not many victims opt to report those cases. So we remain with minimal number of extortion incidents. Meanwhile, we know that it is happening out there. But some of the communities or some of the victims decide to keep it to themselves and not report to the police for reasons known to them. But where we get to know and we get to identify the suspects, we do the necessary in terms of following up information, following up on the suspects, and to get them captured.
At this moment, General, are we able to disclose the nationality of the foreign national that was found among those suspects?
For now, I would say 2 of the 5 have not been identified, but the other 3, 2 of them are siblings, and 1 of them is a foreign national. For now, we are not in a position to mention the country they are coming from.
The homemade gun also being quite a concern at this point, of course?
The homemade guns, that's always a concern. But here we have found 3 weapons which are still to be processed and be analyzed. Yes, so homemade guns, those are also weapons of choice as the criminals conduct their operations.
Any outstanding suspects? I understand that we're talking about 5 suspects here. It looks like they're part of a gang. Were they part of a bigger gang?
Outstanding suspects, in as far as that one we cannot mention until we finalize the crime scene. But there's always suspects connected to some cases. As we process these ones and we profile them dead as they are, we might just link them to other crime scenes and link them to other criminals whom they were working with.
General, in cases like this, when you find that suspects are located in informal settlements, I know that in the past there's been a trust deficit with police. Communities may not necessarily have wanted to speak out. Now, are you finding that, for example, in this case, are communities actually helping you find these suspects?
Yes, it is as a result of some community members that decided to work with us to give us information. Of course, we do have informers. We have intelligence members from the crime intelligence that work with their informers. Then we're able to follow. Otherwise, without the help of the communities, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking about these suspects being arrested.
Perhaps I missed this, General, but is this an intelligence-driven operation? I know initially I had asked perhaps if they were intercepted on their way to commit another crime, or is it intelligence-driven?
Most definitely, it is an intelligence-driven. The provincial team that worked on this case, it's a multidisciplinary team, inclusive of various disciplines in the police, including crime intelligence. So, like I've already indicated, that intelligence or crime intelligence use their informers to get to know who the suspects and where they are. As you have heard, that the crimes they are linked to are far from here, Mpumalanga, Hammersdale, and all over, but they come to hide here. But so yes, to answer your question directly, yes, crime intelligence is involved.
And lastly, of course, their ages quite concerning when you're looking at some of them were quite young in their teens.
Yes, you missed that part. The suspects are between the ages of 17 and early 20s. I'm not going to be very specific on the age of the elder one, but they are in early 20s.
General, thank you very much for your time. That's the Deputy Provincial Commissioner, Phumelele Makoba, speaking to us about what actually transpired here in the early hours of this morning. As you can see, the scene at this particular moment is quite active, Michelle. It's still, in fact, cordoned off, but there's a number of community members. Of course, we are in the area of Lusaka informal settlements. It's in Chatsworth, and we know that this is a shooting that took place in the early hours of this morning, where we understand that 5 were shot and killed during a police shootout. We are hearing from the conversation that you just had with the Deputy Provincial Commissioner. They're stating that there's 2 of them that were siblings that are among those that have died here, but also a foreign national among them. And at this point, the nationality of that person at this particular moment is not known. But the scene at this point is still quite active. As you can see from behind me, the suspects are yet to be removed from the scene, and at this point they are linked to a number of crimes, including murder, extortion, possession of an unlicensed firearm, house robberies, and also coming from that conversation, we know that there was a homemade gun that was found, or homemade guns rather, that were found in the possession of the suspects.
Shocking details emerging there. Silethiwe Ndlovu is live to us in Chatsworth. The suspects aged between 17 and in their early 20s.